Welcome to your awakening. Please take care as your reality is adjusted.
Oh, good morning, Global Digital Reformed Gulag. Can we have a reformed gulag? Is there such a thing?
I see what you did there.
I don't know. I doubt it will be, but yeah.
No, probably not. Not many voters.
And try and remember to say, hail, well met fellow, salutations, or all that usual good stuff. I haven't repeated that phrase for a while. I might repeat quite a few phrases tonight that I haven't used for a while. Yeah, usual excuse, a few minutes late, sorry. I was trying to get myself a drink and get sat down, and I can't move quick, so I was catching my breath once I sat back down again before I clicked the button.
I saw you running very slowly.
Yeah, I was running in fucking slow motion. It was like a 1980s movie.
The Buck Rogers? No, the other one. Steve, whatever. $6 million man?
Yeah, that was Rogers, wasn't it? Steve Rogers?
Yeah.
The $6 million man? Yeah.
Yeah, same guy, but I think 2 shows, but yeah.
Yeah. We can rebuild him just with that magic number of 6 million.
6 million dollars.
With the magic of NASA technology, yeah.
Just 6 million, imagine that.
Oh,
6
there you
million
go,
now.
Rob got it. Thanks, Rob. Steve Austin.
What Steve? Steve
Yeah.
Austin. Yeah, that's the one.
You go. Somebody's memory still works. There you go. Oh, no, mate. I've never liked that phrase. How many times have you ever heard me use that? Me personally, I never say it.
No, Cookie, no. Nope. I blame James, but he's not here.
Shout out for James. Hello, mate. If you're listening.
Maybe he's lurking. Yeah.
He probably is. Yeah, I know he can't deal with the screen and the keyboard too well, so that's cool. You just sit and listen, right? Yeah. That's the idea, yeah. I will run through and say hello to everyone in a minute. Let me just find which one's probably the best one to start with. I think the classic. Yeah, let's start with that one. We'll leave that one on screen for a little bit. These are some of the classic quotes I've got in the like in the StreamYard room. You've got a section called media assets and whatever, where you can, you put this in there, so it's there whenever you want to click on it. You don't have to keep typing it in every time and whatever. And I've got a selection of them. I haven't shown most of them for ages. And I know long-term listeners are probably used to or remember the fact that I used to have them in the blurb under my videos. It'd be like a list of different quotes from, some of the classic quotes from people. Just to reiterate those points, But yeah, we'll get into that as we go along. There's a few things I think I need to repeat that I haven't said for a while, because I thought we'd got to a stage where I didn't need to keep repeating myself on those certain points, But maybe considering all the chaos that's going on at the moment, it's worth having a reminder, you know. So I will flick through some of them. I'll try not to spend too much time on it or belabor the points, because I know the majority of you listening are already well aware of all this stuff anyway. So yeah, anyway, hello everyone in the chat room. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for spending a bit of time. There's Kitty's in the Rumble chat. Meow Kitty in the Rumble chat. Yeah, don't forget to do all the usual. Stick your thumbs up your bum. You know, all that usual kind of YouTube stuff. You know, I don't bother with that in general.
I do. Subscribe.
Yeah,
I want to
Pete's
stay
still,
ahead of Rob.
yeah, he's
Well,
still
he's
trying
catching
to,
up though, so he's getting there.
yeah.
But yeah, well,
But he's doing a good job of keeping up with
all the fucking
lines and stuff, isn't he? Yeah. I don't think he's quite up to the same kind of par as you with the dailies that you do. But you know,
his daily is 3 minutes. Mine is an hour. So no.
yeah. That's not
This is
necessarily a
mainstream.
bad
Mine
thing.
is not.
Sometimes it's
But
not
it's
necessarily
important
a bad
as well, right? To know the
Yeah.
mainstream, and I don't want to
Yeah.
spend hours in mainstream shit. So it's great. I
Exactly.
like that.
So yeah, same for me.
I know the headlines, and that's all I need to know.
Yeah. I appreciate just somebody just reading through those headlines, because then it gives me an idea of what the mainstream are focusing on. Because you know what they like. They're usually like a gaggle of birds. They all go in one direction. And usually because they've been given orders onto what subjects to cover and whatever.
Yeah.
Because please don't forget, all the editors, and they're like the end of the chain when it comes to deciding what actually ends up on the front page of the news. Yeah, the editor-in-chief is like the total control of what goes out to the public, and all of them are under the watchful eye of the government's agencies. Yeah, all of them are under a kind of unspoken contract of following certain expectations and rules, unspoken rules. Some of the rules are dictated to them directly, and a lot of them have assistants that are placed in those positions by the agencies themselves. So all of the mainstream media is tightly controlled by the governments in that sense. Yeah. So this is why, there's no point getting frustrated if you're not seeing what you think is important news in the mainstream headlines, because they're never going to give you the real picture, are they? Yeah. They're going to give you a controlled narrative. So
yeah, more and more is AI generated, even, right? The articles that they're writing of like AI slop.
Yeah,
so,
filler.
Filler,
AI filler. And it's geared to what they think the public need to hear.
Yeah,
that's
or a
one
bit of
thing.
rage bait, or
the AI is good for that, because it can do things quickly on the fly. Yeah. But anyway, let's say hello to everyone first, so we can get into the rest of the stuff. Kitty was in both the chat room, all the chat rooms first.
Oh, all of them.
So meow to Kitty, well done. And she's nominated James for that first place as well. Thank you.
Well done. Well done.
Good stuff. Rick's in the chat. Good evening, Rick. I don't know if I got any boobies for today, but we'll see as we go along. I know
nope.
It's just for the crack in it. Rebecca, hello, Rebecca. Thank you for the links you were sharing the other day about the language stuff. I'm interested in all that kind of stuff. So that was to do with two things. One was to do with a local dialect in Northeast America where, what do they call them? The high tiders. Yeah, they've got that very rolling accent. It's almost like classic London Cockney a little bit, yeah? And it comes from that time period back in like the 1800s, when there was a lot of settlers moving over to the Americas, and the accent has stuck. And it's a bit of an amalgamation. It's not just kind of like English colloquial. There's probably a bit of Dutch in there as well, yeah? but it's got that very rolling vowels kind of sound. But there is also the stuff to do with the way the genetic code, the literal translation of the genome, the TAGC coding, could be translated into letters and languages. This is coming partly from Greg Braden, but he's not the only one that covers this kind of stuff, I know. But it's interesting. I think there's a hell of a lot more needs researching on it, but it's certainly very, very interesting in the way the human, all genomes can be decoded in that kind of way, almost like, as many people have described it, it's almost like looking at computer language, like machine language. Yeah, good stuff, thank you. Mascara Snake, good evening, mate. Thank you for the musical shorts. I definitely appreciate them when I'm sifting through all the craziness. It makes a nice refreshing break to just listen to some twinkling away on the Cora. Yeah, I love the sound of that instrument. It's such a lovely sound. It's almost like rainfall. It's a very relaxing sound. So if you're feeling a bit stressed, check out Mascara's videos where he's playing his Cora. Genuinely concerned, good evening, mate. Yeah, you made plenty of shekels today. Some people must have, yeah, definitely. I think there's quite a few of them in the internet sphere, the influencer sphere now. And of course, we've got Dr. Rob. Good evening, Rob. You're welcome to join in if you want to when you're finished scuffing your cheeseburgers.
Yeah, send me some.
Lovely. Oh, Spanish, yeah.
Yeah,
very underrated quote. Well, I've already said it. So, yeah, I'll put up some other quotes as we go along. Hello, David. Good evening, David. Thanks for joining in. And,
well, I guess some of these quotes get misquoted, right? So they get...
Yeah, well, it's like that Socrates one. That's a very
that gets misquoted a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also a very simplified version of what he allegedly said. Because remember as well, Socrates didn't write anything down, so we're relying on the accounts from others like Plato of what he said. And yeah, he doesn't exactly say it in that wording, but the implication is that's what he's talking about. Yeah.
Well,
never assume that you know everything about anything.
It's a philosophical thing, right? Because as soon as you know something, you have more questions.
Yeah.
So you never run out of more questions, right? That's kind of what this is saying.
Yeah.
So that's why you know nothing, because there's more questions and more to know.
Yeah.
Right.
And
there's no theory of everything or an answer to anything, or there's no definitive. There's also always a bipolar kind of an answer to a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah, there can be, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would make the point, like I usually do, that there are some absolutes in reality and the way reality works, yes. And there's certain absolutes that we make use of, but may not necessarily be a kind of a physical existence in what we understand as reality, but they serve a purpose if we utilize them as an absolute. And the classic one for that is mathematics. If you say the number 1, you mean 1, not 1 point or 0 point. You mean 1. Yeah, and taking that as an understood absolute, you work from there, and that enables you to do other mathematical calculations, etc., etc. Yeah.
Sure.
So it's a convention. It's an absolute as a convention of further development. It's not an absolute in a realistic sense.
But the more we find out about that reality, right, and then you stumble into quantum reality, then that 1 can all of a sudden be a 0 and a 1 at once, right? So then it becomes more complicated. But yeah, so
Yeah.
well, our
Nick
brains are
Achieve.
wonderful, but not. I don't think we're capable of knowing all, even. Right. So.
Good evening, Nick Achieve. Glad you joined in, mate.
Hello.
I was reminiscing about curried goat the other day with one of the carers. And Nick made me very tasty curried goat when I went to meet up with him in London years ago. That was when we went to that crazy Schilderberg at the, what was it called? The Grove. You know, when
Bohemian
David Icke
Grove?
and all them lot turned up. Not Bohemian Grove, no, but it was called the Grove, and it was an acknowledged druidic site, allegedly. Yeah.
Okay.
It was
Well,
the
it's Grove
Bilderberg
for a
meeting.
reason, right? That's why
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Bohemian
Yeah.
Grove.
Yeah.
Bohemia. Where's Bohemia?
Rich T, good evening, mate. Hope you're well.
The
Yeah,
Bilderburger. Yeah, that's a nice hamburger. Bilderburger.
yeah.
With cheese.
It's better than Build-A-Bear. Them things are stupidly expensive. I don't know how that ever caught on. Paula Whoosh, good evening. I hope your whoosh is whooshing.
Whoosh, whoosh. You're welcome too. Click always the same
Yeah.
link.
Yeah,
You
you're
have
welcome.
the link, honey. Click it.
Right, hang on a sec. I've just got to quickly flick to... There you go. How's that? That's for Rick, because he's saying boobies please in the chat. Will that keep you occupied for a little bit while we're looking at other stuff? I'm still scrolling. Hello to all the lurkers and time travelers, all those people that are tuning in after the fact. Right, okay, I've scrolled all the way to the bottom. Hello to everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm sorry if I've missed you out. I was trying to be careful and not miss anyone out this time, because I know sometimes I can skim through the chat.
Joined us just now.
Guys, Joe, hello, mate.
Yes, Joe. Hi.
Thanks for joining. I think it's Joe. Is it Jay? Yeah, it's a Jay, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, well, let me just quickly change up the other banner. Put up one of the other classic quotes. Yes, I've got quite a few. And this is sort of reference to what you were saying last week about, using quotes.
Mm.
And I was just making...
We're curing cancer, right?
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah.
I hope that's going to stick, because the data center shit is getting crazy. But yeah.
Yeah, I think you do. You have to be... I feel, anyway, this is the way I approach it. I like to use quotes from other people, but always with the caveat. Yes, welcome to the caveat show. There's going to be a few caveats this evening, but always with the caveat that I'm not trying to be that other person. I am not Carl Jung. Please do not assume that just because I use a quote from Carl Jung, that means I agree 100% with everything he ever said or did.
Yeah, or that you wrote a biography, that you know everything about fucking Carl Jung as well. Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, but he's a fucking... Yeah, well, okay.
Yeah. I think I've only ever read one book, and I've got several of his books on file that I've been waiting to have the chance to read. Things like The Undiscovered Self, one of his classics. Stuff like that. I've not had the time to get round to read. I'm still trying to read 3 books at the moment. So
the problem with these guys, I always get them confused. I get them mixed up, right?
With who? Which one?
With all the others.
Oh, right.
Of that time that made psychology kind of what it is now.
Is today,
right? Yeah.
Well, there is a bit of a split, because not all of psychology agrees with Jung's approach. And you then also have the legacy of Freud, who was very toxic in the long run. So this is why I largely prefer Jung. I'm quite happy to acknowledge some of the ideas that came out of Freud. I think he was somewhat right in some ways, but there's a lot about what he said and the situation that he was doing it in that is just wrong. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of allegations of him covering up for paedophilia and sexual abuse and abusive relationships and stuff like that. Yeah. So, whereas I think Carl Jung, to me, he gets it more on point of the way human psyches generally work. Again, I'm not saying 100% agree, but I do largely agree with his approach. But there was a split in psychology years ago when it became institutionalized, and you have two different approaches. Some people will use a kind of Jungian approach, which is to do with shadow work and self-reflection and self-actualization, those kind of inner development approaches.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the things like that are more externally based, like cognitive behavioral therapy. Things where they get the person to focus more on dealing with their external world and not fixating on their childhood or their history or their past. You work from here forward rather than
the ego and what is the ego and that, right? That part, yeah. Ego dreams. He did dreams as well, Jung, didn't he?
Yeah, Jung is renowned for his dream interpretation, which again is where it gets into that level of introspection of the psyche and his concept of things like the
Consciousness
archetypes.
and the actual, more deeper things than
Yeah.
behavioral things.
Yes.
Or how can I change behavior? Which was Freud, right?
Yeah.
And the Freudian slip, of course, when you accidentally talk about the Epstein list.
Yeah.
Very famous.
I've even got one of them in the banners somewhere.
Oh.
There you go. I knew it was in there somewhere.
No, it's still alive.
Well, and it's still ongoing because now they want us to focus.
Oh yeah, even worse. Come on, let's.
The other crazy shit that's going.
We have accepted it, so that's okay.
Yeah,
now.
which was partly what they wanted.
Yep.
It was another stepping stone test, wasn't it? Really?
I say so. Yeah.
Oh, hello in the chat, Dennis and Michael. Good evening, both. Thanks for joining. Yeah. But so this is another one of my favourite classics as well. Bruce Lee was quite insightful, even though a lot of what he was talking about was sort of traditional Chinese Tao Te Ching and stuff like that. Yeah. It's not like he was coming up with anything really brand new or revolutionary, but he was good at expressing it and explaining the concepts. Yeah.
I had him in the daily a while back. Not long ago. Yeah.
So in that simple concept,
be like water. Something like that.
Yeah.
Was it? Be like water or
be like water, my friend. Water can flow or it can crash. It can fill a teapot. It can become the shape of the teapot. That was his way of trying to explain the flow of the Tao. You can't truly comprehend the Tao. The Tao is that inexplicable energy that fuels reality, but it has a flow. It has eddies. It has currents, and if you can learn to tap into that flow, it's about the chi body as well. Yes, sir. That's the kind of Eastern medicine approach of dealing with. I think it's the electrical body,
the yin yang, and
they like to call it
and the negative.
Exactly. Yeah, we're all saltwater batteries, as I was talking about last week. So we all have a positive and a negative element within us, and our flow, the current flow through our body, is affected by that. So the cleaner you're living, I know that sounds a bit subjective, but I think people know what I mean these days. if you're living more in tune with your natural environment.
Yeah, away from frequencies.
Yeah, away from artificially created frequencies. That's the main point, artificially created. Because there's a hell of a lot
That's
of
that weird thing that you have when you walk into a forest, right? When you're in nature, you have that
or certain locations like waterfalls. Waterfalls are classic energy generators because the falling water generates electricity. The movement of the surf on the ocean front
but the
generates electricity.
absence of that fucking disturbance all the time, because you don't hear it, you don't see it, right? But it's there everywhere. I saw a visualizer once that some artist made, like of all the frequencies that are around you, and it could visualize it in colors.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that looked like a Christmas tree, like
Yeah. And
it's like it's like your radio, it's your Wi-Fi, it's your phone, it's phone data, it's all kinds of shit. Your fridge,
the ring main
right?
itself running through your home.
Yeah. Electric power grid, all kinds of
The
shit.
overhead
So
cables outside, if you've got those
certain
in your area.
certain animals are fucking, like going nuts
Much
or
more
whatever. I
sensitive
can
to it.
get it. Yeah, like
And
this.
insects especially are quite sensitive to it.
Whales as well, right? With those windmills and that shit, low frequency hums.
Yeah.
And radar. They hate radar.
Yeah.
Sonar.
There's a lot of proof that shows that is the most likely cause for beachings. When whales or dolphins end up crashing into a beach.
Yeah.
It's usually because we've been emitting shit into the ocean and basically confused the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
The point I wanted to make, hello, welcome to the show, folks.
Hi.
There you go, it's been about half an hour. The subtitle tonight is, It's the Labour Choice. If you were lucky enough to not actually have to listen to the Starmer speech earlier today, then you wouldn't have heard this, but I did spend the time tormenting myself listening to the shit coming out of him. And he kept repeating this idea that he was going to implement... that he was going to implement some ideas that are going to reinvigorate the public's desire for change. He kept banging on about change. It was very sort of like Obama. We're going to have change. He's not saying what kind of change, but
in your pocket. That's all you're going to have. Pocket change.
One of the phrases he kept repeating, I think he was trying to appeal to the Labour base, the traditional Labour supporter base, was that it's the Labour choice. In other words, what he was suggesting is what the Labour Party traditional attitude would choose. Yeah? Bollocks. But we'll get to that later in the second half. But I wanted to also go over, like I mentioned, repeat the fact of sometimes I've been tempted to call these shows the caveat show, because it seems that no matter how many fucking years I've been doing this and basically saying the same stuff, or largely the same stuff, or presenting it in very similar ways, occasionally people still seem to, for whatever their reason, either get the wrong end of the stick of what I'm saying, and that's usually by choice, unfortunately, I've learned over the years. And I'm not saying I'm immune to that. I make the same mistake sometimes as well. You hear what somebody's saying and your own personal biases make you hear a particular meaning to what's being said that the speaker may not have originally intended. Yeah. But this is where hopefully one of my main intentions for these shows was to convey across to people as best I could what I had learned and what I had benefited. I'm terrible grammar, sorry, but it don't matter. What I felt I had benefited from by learning about things like philosophy and psychology. But when it comes down to communication, philosophy, I think, is one of it really is the main subject that we should all learn about when we're learning language, because language really does rely on a lot of the basic fundamental premises that philosophy is based on. Because the whole point of philosophy, I mean, the word itself from the Greek just literally means the love of knowledge. Philo, Sophie. Sophie is, or sophistry is one of the Greek definitions of knowledge. You know, you also got the word gnosis, but Sophie and sophistry has a bit more encompassing meaning to it. And philo is the non-erotic love, you know, almost like in the word philanthropy. That word is supposed to mean the love of humanity, you know. So philo is a non-erotic love of knowledge. So just in that basic premise, it enables much better communication. It enables much better exchange of ideas without resorting to outright violence, which is what the system loves us to do. Yeah, the system's main tactic throughout history has been divide and conquer, or divide and rule. So they love to get us fighting with each other. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to get us confused over our communications with each other, so that when you say one thing, the other person thinks you mean something else. You know, or when you use a certain word or a certain phrase, the listener thinks, because they've been given a predisposed idea of what that word means, they think you're saying something bad or wrong or aggressive or whatever. Yeah.
Can I give an example video of that?
Yeah, go
Huh?
on.
So I take a minute. A minute.
Yeah, I love it.
Bless you. Appreciate is appreciate. Awake means awake, which is an event where the family gather together before a funeral. Mourning is an expression of sorrow for someone's death. Job is Hebrew for prosecution. You are taught to specifically say the vowels in this order, where the last three words say I-O-U, because they are programming you to remain a slave. Every word you say is shaping your mind, and your mind is a mirror of your external world. This is why abracadabra means I create when I speak. The words I am can be used to direct vibrational frequencies into your morphinogenic field and have the ability to change your genes. When you use the word the, you're referring to God to bring it into existence, because the comes from theo, which is Greek for God. The weekend is when you're weakened from the weekdays, when you're in a daze, when you are in physical shock or unable to think or react properly. Your parents are a pair who rent. They want you to think slaughter is laughter. The comment that gets 0 likes will win a book of wisdom and a necklace.
Hey, 0 likes. But yeah, this is just, there's a conspiracy out there that the whole English language is kind of written like that, right? Like to confuse you. It's like the New World Order language, and that's why they pushed it all over the globe, and right, that's why it's language number 1. So
hello, Steve, in the chat. You're welcome to join in, mate, if you want. Just nudge Pete.
The thing is with this, right, with all these words, weird words, it only works in English. Right?
Exactly.
This doesn't work in Dutch. This doesn't work in German. This doesn't work in any other language. So you have to learn this magical language first.
Yes.
To kind of be under the spell of it, right?
Yes.
And yeah, is it subconscious? But
no,
I think this is more like teaching you to fucking,
this has been for me, it's been one of the major points that I've been talking about all these years. The English language being somewhat ambiguous, partly deliberately, but also it's just a happenstance of the way the language has developed in some cases. Like some of the stuff he's mentioning in that video, I'd agree with maybe 40% of what he said. The rest of it is just weird happenstance of the way we interpret the words we use in English.
Yeah, the
things
days
like
one was funny.
awake.
Days, if you write it differently, then it's different, mate. Yeah. It's not the same. So it's not days.
I had a similar discussion with, I know I talked about it on the shows, I don't know how many years ago, several years ago, like 2015, 2016 or something. because this concept of what people were calling atomic language or quantum language was being peddled online. And it was literally like that. It was like pretty much, they were claiming that pretty much the entirety of the English language was some kind of spell coding deliberately to mess with your mind or to even program you like you're in the Matrix, yeah? Which to me that's the misdirection, where they're taking a certain amount of truth. This is classic controlled op, yeah? They'll take a certain amount of truth and then they'll just dump a whole load of shit on top of it. And because there's a little kernel of truth, people who are not thinking very clearly or critically or what will just absorb the whole lot. And then you have a whole load of people running around just talking gibberish, basically, yeah?
I got a 1 minute clip of Jordan Maxwell. Maxwell?
Oh, yeah, he's a classic. Yeah.
And he explains Israel.
Saturn was referred to as El, E-L. El was the god Saturn in the old Phoenician Canaanite system. And consequently, anyone that promoted the worship of
legit,
El
right? No, this
is where we get the word elder.
This is a different kind
you
of
become an elder because you were worshiping El. And when you worship El and become an elder, then how did you get to be an elder? You got elected. So therefore we have elections. Now that you have been elected to be an elder, now you are one of the elites. Why? Because now you have moved up, like in an elevator. You are now moved up in society. Consequently, it's all money. It's all manipulation and exploitation coming out of Phoenicia, Canaan. It goes back to the old Sumerian, Babylonian systems of words and terms and symbols and emblems that have been used to manipulate the whole human race. Because our masters don't give a damn about you or your family or your destiny with God. All they care about is what they have always cared about, and that's controlling the whole
world. I think.
The Illuminati got to him at the end there.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but yeah, that is accurate, and that is something that you can discover if you bother to spend the time looking at languages, and especially if you dig into the etymology.
Right?
Yeah, the ancient roots of languages.
Yeah.
Which has been covered by many people, many scholars, many academics. So whether you like the academic world or not, there's many independent scholars that have covered this subject matter.
Well, the L is also the royal measurement from the Egyptians, right?
Are you thinking of the royal cubit?
Yeah, and the L. They have an L as well. That's like 30 centimeters, like the underarm.
I don't remember.
I think it's something like that too. So the L is it's one of those things, right? It's etymologically like
it's
the
definitely
basis of our language, kind of a thing. Elbow.
Yeah, it is a deep root in our language, which is why, again, this subject I've covered many times, and I've explained to people how what we know as modern English. Good evening, Roberto. Words.
Elohim, yeah.
I sometimes refer to it as the language of angles, simply because there are certain elements that have been deliberately included that are that kind of ancient rooting that has not even necessarily double meanings. A lot of these words have multiple meanings.
Superman is L.
Yeah.
L something, right?
Jarel. Or was that
Jarel. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said before, he's a replication of the ancient version of the kind of
fallen angel Lucifer, I would say.
Yeah, a demigod kind of figure.
Yeah, they say Christ, but nah.
Yeah, he's a parody of Christ.
Yeah.
And you look at where some of those story ideas originate from, they all go back to a similar place in the Middle East.
Ooh.
Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, well, Batman comes from South America, right? There's that mask, that ancient mask of the Batman mask. There's a cult of the bat, right? In the
there is in Mesoamerica. Yes.
Yeah. So it could be inspired by, but I don't know if he knew about that bat.
Maybe,
Well,
but
it
wasn't.
looks
It
a lot
absolutely
like something.
wasn't common knowledge back then in general public.
No.
It was known about in the academic world, but not in the general public.
Yeah, but that's what they did, right, in the comics. Like, they stole everything from mythology because, A, it's what copyright
pretty much
free,
all of it is
right?
a repeat of that. Yes.
Yeah. And it is a repeat of all that. So, yeah. We're
Oh,
still living in those times.
good evening, Roscoe. Glad you made it. Right, welcome to the craziness here in the UK at the moment. But yeah, the point being, I've often talked about this kind of stuff, and let me just put up a very appropriate banner in response to what Dennis just posted, because I'm sorry, mate, but I think you're completely wrong. The ticker underneath, yeah. Nothing strengthens authority so much as silence. So yeah, your silence can be useful at times, dependent on the situation you find yourself in. Yes, agreed. Yes, it can be a very useful way of protecting yourself or protecting others, for example. Yeah, but when it comes to this question of the structure that we have been included into from birth, yeah, Bruce Lee. Then now you stretch it a bit now.
Well,
that's cheating,
well.
joining them together. Yeah, a little bit of cheating, but yeah, in this structure that we're forced to participate in, there is a bunch of people, a small demographic of people who think they have authority over the rest of us. That's not true. There's
Yeah,
no
better
such
use
thing
of
as
words
authority.
and all that,
Yeah.
right?
Other than the
Words of
authority
authority.
of the divine Godhead, whatever you choose to believe that is. If you're atheist, then you think it's the randomness of the universe itself. Doesn't matter. It's the same principle of the only real authority other than yourself is that divine authority. Yeah. So all these people who claim to have authority, they don't. It's just that you agree to allow them to do certain things that we then label and define as authority. Yeah. But the concept of authority being something that you can hand from one to another and no, fuck off.
Actual anarchism, right?
Yes, anarchy. There is no ruler other than the divine Godhead.
Well, laws are just words written on a piece of paper.
Yes.
Right.
Unless you agree with them, and then they can be enacted upon. Yeah, we are governed by consent. Yeah. They show you a bunch of rules written on a piece of paper, and if you say, okay, I agree to follow those rules, then that means there is an enforcer class that can enforce those rules to make sure you follow them.
But we used to burn witches, but Paula is still here, so we don't do that anymore. So, things can change. But that's what I mean. Like, it's in the times as well. Like what kind of laws and wordy words we put on to ourselves, and now definitions have no meanings. Maybe we want to slip into that, but
yeah, well, that's. Let me go through my notes, because first of all, I made the point about the caveat show. I thought we'd got past this stage where I needed to caveat myself constantly for everything I'm saying.
It's not the Jews.
Yeah. It's not round, it's flat. Shit like that. But there is, you need to know a certain definition of words to be able to use language in the first place, whatever language you're utilizing. Yeah. Well, I'm going to stick with English because that's really the only language I can speak fluently, allegedly. I know a little bit of other languages, but I'm not fluent in any of them at all. But the point being is, if you're going to communicate with others, you need a way of communicating. Language is not all just verbal words. Yeah, a lot of our communication is unspoken. It's facial expressions, it's body language, it's context and framing of what's being said and exchanged. Yeah. Smell as well, if you're in proximity to people. But we all have to have a general agreement of the shared definition of every word we're using. Otherwise, you wouldn't understand what I'm saying to you. It wouldn't even be defined as grunting, because even a grunt can have a definition or ends up having a definition. You know, if you point at something and grunt, eventually everybody around you will think whenever you say that grunt, you
What
mean
does
that
that
thing
mean?
you're pointing at.
What do
Yeah.
you mean?
Yeah, exactly. So
Huh? What are you
the
trying to say there?
the concept of definition being amorphous or non-absolute is just a given because of the way language grows and changes dependent on the time, on the people using it, on the situation they're in. Some words can have multiple meanings and uses. I used the classic last week about I could be a piece of shit, but all of us together doing these broadcasts are the shit. You know, so what's the definition of shit then? Yeah, doesn't that mean the word shit has multiple definitions? But we all accept those definitions and make use of them so we can
shit is like the
understand it.
modern grunt. A grunt can mean so many things, right? You
Yeah.
can be angry grunt, or it can be happy grunt, it can be a cunt grunt. Oh, you're a cunt grunt.
Yeah.
So it's like that because when I think about it, when I'm in a work sphere or whatever, you don't use words, right? You know, you point, give me, you know, and the other one kind of understands, right?
Yeah. That's what I mean. There is a shared acceptance of a certain definition. We all know that the definitions can change, that they can be ambiguous, that they can have different interpretations for different people. This is why in philosophy, one of the things you first taught to do or learn to do is to define your terms so that there is no confusion when you use those terms. Yeah, that is something you can't really do for every single word. So there's a general acceptance of a shared definition of common language that we use to communicate with each other. That doesn't mean
we used
that
to
the
be able to go
definitions
to
are always
the
absolute.
dictionary, right? The
Yeah,
dictionary.
well, I
But
don't
they,
think.
the ones on paper are great because they can change those, but they are modifying the modern ones, right? So
I'd also recommend getting yourself a thesaurus. But if you go to buy one now, find one that's at least 20 or 30 years old. Yeah, because a modern thesaurus will be full of a load of utter shit, you know, a load of the woke nonsense, redefinitions of words and shit like that. You know, so this is something else, is you will end up learning multiple definitions for different words. Some definitions may come from 200 years ago. Some definitions might be from just recent, like within the last few years, a modern reuse of an old word with a new definition, a new application. Like the word, classic one, cunt. Yeah, if you really dig around, you find out that in oldie English, the word cunt was actually quite a positive thing. It referenced somebody as being reliable. Yeah, they do what they say they're going to do, that kind of thing. Yeah. Whereas now,
sounds
how
about
is it
right.
used? Now it's used as a mainly as a pejorative, isn't it? So, you know, things like that. You can't, or it's not a good idea to. I shouldn't say you can't, because I'm not trying to dictate to you what you do. But you'll find your life very difficult, and you'll often get upset if you're determined that words have to have a certain application that is only according to your preference or perception. So if you think a certain word only ever is allowed to mean a certain thing, then when you encounter somebody who uses that word differently, you're going to get upset with them. Yeah, and that doesn't help communication. Again, this is why we have terms of definition. We can't the mind can't work without definition. The way the human mind works is, for example, and I know I've gone over this example many times in the past. This is a glass. Why is it a glass? Because I need to define it as separate from everything else so that I can interact with it. Because if I see it as being just part of the background noise, I won't be able to comprehend what it even is. Does that make sense? Yeah. So our minds need definition to do what we do. The way we interpret this reality requires us to apply definitions, to separate or to individuate things from the background noise. Otherwise,
Yeah.
we can't communicate at all.
That's our biggest problem with the woke thing, right? Because
Yes.
they are
They're trying to
weaponizing
dissolve definition and meaning. Yes.
definition. It's weaponized,
Yes.
right? And that's very scary because like they say, like in that saying, the word is like a sword, right? It's like
Yeah, I like
so-
using that phrase when words become swords.
yeah. So and they're using that all the time because if you say the wrong word, fuck, you're fucked, right? If you
Yeah,
say the
you're
right
cons-
word, well,
You're part of the
depends
crowd.
if you use the right definition of it, right?
Yeah.
So they catch you out on that way. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, that it's that Orwell fucking shit, right? So you have
Yes,
to
that
double
is the
speak.
main.
You don't know what to fucking say and think anymore.
That is the
Oh, yeah.
main point that Orwell was getting across. It wasn't so
In
much
1947,
it
reminder.
wasn't so much about the authoritarian tyranny in the story. Yes, that's sort of like the end result of allowing them to fuck with language that much, because it alters the way people can think.
Yes.
So it alters the way people conceive of reality.
Cognitive dissonance, constant
Exactly.
cognitive dissonance, right? You're never
Yes.
sure of anything.
Yeah, you can't
What
have any
is reality?
definition
Yeah.
because the definition is chosen at a whim by Big Brother, by the party. So
Yeah, they
one day,
define it. They define the reality. Yes.
exactly. That was the main point he was getting across. Yeah, but a lot of people don't get that because they don't study literature. So they just see it as being a story about an immensely oppressive, tyrannical regime, which, yeah, it is. That's the backdrop of the story. But that's where society ends up because they go through this gradual dissolution and destruction of language. Yeah, that's what Orwell, Eric Blair, was mainly talking about with that story. Yeah.
An Orwellian sentence is trust the science.
Yes.
He would have fucking written that down in his book. Like, okay, if they say this shit, run away.
Good example. Yeah. And one of the other things that, I mean, some of this has come up from listening to Steve's show last week. I was trying to figure out the point Steve was trying to make, but I'm not sure. But I thought I got to reply in this kind of sense. Yeah. Again, all the time I've been doing these shows, I've never tried to make a claim that through words alone, totally just purely words, you can change what's happening in reality. Yeah, the reason I used the example last week about God saying the word and, causing creation was just to make the point about words. Again, that argument of words having a definition that we share, that we comprehend, so we can communicate. Yeah. I wasn't trying to suggest or imply that a bunch of people could shout fall at a tree and the tree would fall over. Yeah, if you believe in word magic, maybe, you could conceive of that taking place. But that's never something that I've tried to claim. I've always talked about things being both and, not either or. We can't fixate on just talking in the same way as we can't fixate on just action. You have to have the two combined. It's not just logic. It's not just emotion. It's both combined. That's the way our minds work. Yeah, we don't have a single hemisphere. We have two hemispheres. And although it's not scientifically accurate to describe the way a lot of people comprehend it as being left-brained or right-brained, the actual activity that's taking place in your brain is a bit mixed. It's not all one side or the other, but there is a truism to how one side of the brain mainly focuses on certain tasks. So, for example, logic, which requires linear thinking, A plus B equals C equals D. That's linear, logical, progressive thinking. Whereas your right brain, well, yes, mate, yeah. Well, in that sense, that was like the authority of God, wasn't it? The divine power of the Godhead, which we can appeal to, but I don't think that's the way this reality is meant to work. God can't answer us in that kind of way. But anyway, the right brain thing.
Well, he's shown empathy, right? At a certain point, like at certain points, he's
Yes.
shown empathy
Yeah.
to our existence and our
Yes.
mistakes and all that. So yeah.
Well, just this very existence that
So
he's
he
given
does
us.
listen in that sense, right?
Yeah, this very existence that he's given us to experience. To me, we are
It's a
part of
gift.
the.
It's a gift. We should. Yeah.
We are part of the mind of God. So what we are doing in this realm is part of how God becomes God. And I know that sounds linear in the sense of becoming, and he's not God yet. But that's simply because that's the way we conceive of how this reality works, because we are subjected to linear time. Yeah, we have a limited lifespan, a limited time in this experience, whereas God is eternal, who is both the beginning, the middle, and the end. So he is currently learning to be God. He has learned he's God, and he has made reality. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's all happening at the same time. It's all one thing.
Yeah, I would incorporate reincarnation into that, but yeah.
That's part of it. Yeah, we go round again and again and again.
Well, we get a
so that-
reset and we can try again. I think like that. And I
Yeah.
don't know what the reason is for that. Why we are in this loop.
Yeah, that's
Right?
one of
Why
the
we can't
conundrums, isn't it? Yeah.
ascend.
Let me just
But,
finish
yeah.
the point. But
Sorry.
the right brain is meant to be more about non-linear or ambiguous processes, which is why you tend to experience things more like in a dream world when you're utilizing or accessing the right brain. The right brain is also usually more open to pure creativity, but then the left brain comes in to apply certain structure to that creative energy, and that's what we emanate as our creative output. So when you draw a picture, you're not just sitting there doing completely random squiggles, which is kind of what your right brain creatively does, but your left brain acts as a sort of guiding tool. He goes, oh no, you do this shape and then do that shape, and you draw in a still life. Yeah, you draw in the classic fruit in a bowl kind of thing, but you only know it's fruit in a bowl because of the left brain functionality of creating definition.
It's the doodle brain, right?
Exactly.
When you're making doodles and when you look at them and you think, oh, hey,
but
what the fuck happened there? Yeah.
But this is the point about the system loves to get us into polarity thinking, black and white thinking. So they want us to fixate on one or the other. You've either got to be a pure logic brain,
Rational.
or
Yeah.
you've got to be a total creative that does nothing but paint really weird, surreal pictures. No, you both and. Yeah. And a well-functioning mind has a good balance of both and. So this again, that's the point I was trying to make last week, that to try and claim or suggest that words are useless to us, or that there's no point talking about this stuff, I'm quite happy to say in my opinion, but I don't think I'm wrong in that opinion.
No, tell that to a hypnosis guy or a magician or whatever who use these fucking
Darren Brown is
techniques
a classic example, isn't he?
as like as a way to get into your fucking nut. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, of course it works.
Politicians, Yeah, this is classically what they learn to be good at.
Marketing in general, right? Advertising. Look at advertising, how that works. Look at how children TV works. Look at all the bright colors and fluffy fuckers and Tinky Winky.
I couldn't find my infographic. I still haven't finished going through all the recovered files off that hard drive crash I had. I know it's in there somewhere. I've just got to keep digging through all the dead files to find the good ones. Good evening, Frank.
We're on the hour. Can I play the promo for 30 seconds?
Let me finish this point, and then we can go. We can do the promo and song.
We can round it up and go in the second hour. Yeah,
because it was just this final 2 points. One, I was going to bring my image up from the classic quote of Siddhartha Buddha, who says, and I'm paraphrasing a bit, trying to remember it off the top of my head, believe nothing unless it's conducive with your own reason and your own common sense. Believe nothing, even if I have said it or whoever has said it. Yeah, that's a classic quote from the Siddhartha Buddha, is basically think for yourself. Don't just accept somebody else dictating your reality to you. And that's the last point I'll make. Again, caveat show. I've said this so many times over the years. I've tried to get this point across so many times. There are certain subjects that I actively and vociferously refuse to talk about. Yeah, because as far as I'm concerned, they are either outright psyops, or I've always found them as being subjects that are just not helpful to people. They're like mental bubbles.
Brain rot. I call them brain rot.
Yeah, it's like, if you just want to occupy your time, go ahead, but you're not going to really benefit from it. Yeah. But my point being, I am not here to control your cognitive liberty. Yeah, that's a very important phrase you need to learn, because something this system is actively trying to do at the moment is invade and take control of your cognitive liberty. Do not let them. Do not let anybody tell you what to think about your world and your reality. You decide that for yourself. You have free will choice. If you want to look into subjects like the flat earth, that's up to you. Go ahead. I'm just saying, in my opinion, from everything I've looked at, it's bollocks. It's a psyop, a literal psyop. But up to you. You want to look at it, go ahead. Yeah, that's your choice, your mind, your time, your energy, your effort. Yeah, nothing to do with me. But just to reiterate that point, yeah, this has been my attitude all along.
Well, I'll respect your belief if you respect my belief that I don't believe it, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
That's it, right? Because we can agree to disagree a lot.
Yes.
I have no problems with that.
Yeah, same.
But if you make a problem out of it, then either you're looking for problems, right, and drama and shit. Yeah. So
one of the other phrases.
Think about that. Like, what is your intention with that? Because some of that shit is like.
One of the other phrases that I used to repeat fairly regularly that I haven't said for a while was that if ever anyone tells you they've got the whole truth, they're either delusional or psychotic, or they're deliberately lying to you for some manipulative reason.
Yeah.
That is
trying to sell you, maybe.
Yeah, that is a truism. Yeah, they're trying to sell you something, whatever, a politician, yeah. Nobody has the whole absolute truth.
That's Socrates. That's what Socrates meant when he said, we know nothing.
I know nothing but the fact of my ignorance.
That we know nothing.
Yeah, there's always more to learn. You should never think you know everything. You should always be open to
science.
learning more.
What?
Yes. That was the final point, mate. If you wanna, we'll play a promo for Friday night.
Yeah.
There's gonna be another ladies' night coming up, which is great. Yeah. And then I got a tune I thought was appropriate. I picked I've re-downloaded one that's just the album version. So hopefully it doesn't cause.
I hope we don't ever get away with this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Be warned, YouTube. This is not for profit. This is fair use under the fair use clause. So don't fucker us around. Yeah.
Well, if they do, then just wait a minute. We'll be back after the song because
Yeah, or
Usually
switch to
they'll.
Rumble if you got Rumble.
Oh yeah, get
But
enjoy.
yeah, just hang on if we.
Promo
if
is
we
30 seconds, so get ready, Cookie.
okay,
Yeah.
go for it. Erupted.
Yeah, funny that.
Yeah.
It's spitting image.
Yeah, I love the spitting image version, but I'm glad you said it before I lined it up because it would have got us.
It's BBC.
Yeah,
That's-
no, it was ITV spitting image,
Oh, okay.
but there's still
It's
a
that.
anal
It's spitting image.
bunch of twats. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
you show any of their stuff and they jump all over your gits.
Cool.
But
That's
yeah,
how to do it.
I thought that classic track from Genesis was a good choice because the lyrics in there, I think, say a lot. Yeah, and again, making the point that it's not just the talking about it, is it? It's the doing as well. It's the action, thoughts, word, action. You know, that's to me been one of those the triplet principles. You know, the power of three principle. Every idea in the world ever, every invention ever has begun in somebody's mind. You could say in somebody's heart as well, but you know, there are the three elements to the mind: the brain, the heart, and the gut. They work together as your three-part mind. But yeah, every idea begins in the mind, and then people share those ideas. And through debate and argumentation, the ideas are refined and renewed or reiterated or, you know, even made worse potentially if somebody wants to be manipulative or whatever, exploitative. But then things get acted upon. You know, if you live completely alone, then there's no need for words, is there? There's no need for that kind of communication. You just think about stuff and then you go and do it. Yeah. But when you accept that as a species, we weren't best in groups. We are really built to operate in groups. That's how we work best. We can achieve far more as a group than we can as individuals. So that means we need forms of communication to share our ideas and share what we expect out of life, you know, what we find good and bad and all that kind of. It's not just logic. It's emotional output as well. It's opinion, not just rhetoric in a classic sense. Yeah? So I think that's something that if you hadn't noticed in recent years, we've seen a hell of a lot more emphasis on them trying to fuck with our perception of reality in one way or another. And now we've reached the point where they've got technology that enables them to create trickery to such an extent that they can give people a completely inverted view of what's happening in the world or even what the world is, you know, what reality is. And that's just, I think, the stage we're at, which again was why I thought Land of Confusion is a still relevant song, you know. When did that come out? Something like
90s.
late 80s,
90s.
I think. Yeah, early 90s, something like that. But yeah, you know, they were talking then about the situation with people like Reagan and Thatcher and whatever. Yeah, but it's still pretty much the same today, isn't it? So maybe even I think I could argue that it's a little bit worse than it was back then because
86.
of this 86. Oh yeah, because now they've got more tools, they've got more reach, they've got more individuated analysis of all of us. You know, they've got it down to that, what do they call it, like atomized level of, you know, if anyone was really interested, I'm not saying they are, but they could literally pick one of us out of a list of names and go, oh yeah, what does he think about such and such topic, and they're vacuuming of all the data off the internet means that they can look at that kind of information about us individually, and then they can look at us as demographics. They can say, what do single white males 30 years plus, what do they think about a certain subject? Would they vote for Starmer? And that brings us to what I felt was really the main subject about the last week. And I could say it's distraction, which I think there is a truth to a large degree, that a lot of what they're putting in front of us here in the UK at the moment is deliberately to distract us from all the other shit that's happening. But we had those local elections, and as I mentioned last week when somebody asked, I thought Reform would get quite a good showing in the sense of how many seats they got. I certainly didn't think they'd get that many. What was it, 1,400 and more? That was a big chunk, but I think even more so, that shows that's a demonstration of the public's voice. No matter what you think about the current state of our voting system on that kind of local level, whatever. But I think even though I don't like Farage, I don't like the Reform Party, I've talked about that before recently, I think they were a deliberate misdirection, but most of the public think that Farage is on their side and that the Reform Party offers potentially the opportunity to move away from some of the very extreme left-leaning legislation and whatever policies that have been passed recently by this Labour government. So it really was like a public voice demonstration, almost like a referendum.
It's like a protest. It's a protest vote.
Yes, largely, yes.
They would love to vote Labour if Labour would do what Labour is supposed to do. Right?
If it was the real original Labour, yes, they probably would.
If they were for the workers and lower tax and no migrants, it's super easy for Starmer to win any election. It's just to be against fucking migrants, and and he knows it, right? He knows how to.
Farage?
No, anybody. Anybody. Starmer knows that if he would run, against the migrant bullshit and the illegals and do something about it, he would win.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I think the Restore Party, that Rupert Lowe Party, probably would have got a lot more votes as well, but they weren't running many candidates yet. I think.
No, he was more about one county, right? One special county that he's focused on.
A handful of, I think it's Yarmouth, isn't it?
Yarmouth, yeah. Greater Yarmouth.
Because he lives up there.
And he won that one, massively. So he kind of shown that he is a force in that sense. Yes, sure.
I think he's more genuinely the public's choice. And I could bang on about populism in that sense, populism.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But the point is this is the public making their choice known, like you say, like a protest vote. And if Restore had more candidates up, they probably would have got all those votes for them, not for the Reform Party, But Reform
is a safe, it's like Labour. How Labour should be. It's really like how Labour should be, really, right? It's like the old Labour Party. Conservative, maybe, yeah. Well, she's shit. That Cannock, a black woman.
Badenoch.
Badenochers,
yeah.
No.
She's a joke, right?
Yeah.
As soon as she turns,
sometimes she says the right things, but then she fucking, does the fucking worst thing you could ever do. So
she's just another part of the club.
Totally. But that's Farage as well. So he's going to be a delusion. I think he's going to be the delusion that you see. Some outsider cannot solve your problems. You have to vote Labour or an established party because we have the. We know how. Yeah. No. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just rambling, but
But if you
that's
thought
how
that,
that's how I see Farage, because Farage comes out of that club.
Mhm.
He you know, he's like Wilders in Holland,
yes,
right? And he's Israel first, and those
yeah,
things,
and
right?
he's a
So,
royalist,
and a royalist, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So,
And his
yeah.
main, I was going to say job, it's not exactly a job, but his main sort of role within the parliamentary structure for pretty much all of his career has been as a kind of independent adjutant. He's never really been a party leader. You know, this was
Mhm.
proven with the UKIP shit. Oh, good evening, Sue. Good evening,
Hi,
Irish.
Yeah,
And
he's
hello
one
to
of
Paul
the
if he's
old
there.
boys club. He's in the, you know,
Yeah, but
the
I mean, in the
cigar
sense of
smoking clubs.
he never
With the
really strived to be, and I don't think they wanted him to be a
Farage
party
wants to be in
leader
those
and
clubs.
being a prime minister. Yeah.
Yeah.
His job was always a little bit like Mandelson. He was meant to be a kind of permanent backbencher that would be the guy who would feed opposition questions into the government in such a way that it gave the government the ability to address what was legitimate concerns, but in a controlled manner. Yeah, so
Mhm.
he's sort of like the fake rebel. Yeah, he acts like a rebel against the current establishment, but he never has been. Yeah,
No,
he's
he's
always
desperate to get
been.
into the cigar smoking clubs and pig
Yeah,
fucking
he
club
is in those
and the
clubs, man.
Epstein Island club. Oh
Yeah,
well, yeah. Rupert Lowe is right. He is a card member,
yeah, yeah,
right? So he knows how to fucking do the talky talk. Like,
yeah.
yeah, he's from
And
that club. So
he
he's
does.
play. I see Rupert Lowe as a more of a disingenuous character than Farage, because Farage is a wannabe and Rupert Lowe is one,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
right?
it's just that the public doesn't
He's
seem.
so fucking desperate. Farage would do
Yeah,
fucking everything, man. Fucking.
yeah.
Well,
There's a large portion of the public that still seems to be. I don't know how to describe it. Under some kind of delusion of what Farage is. I think they see a more honest perception of Rupert Lowe in the sense of they know he's sort of a throwback to that old style conservatism, but there's something about Farage where you get quite a mixture of support for him. Yeah, almost as if you got like people who are a bit on the left support him, as well as
yeah,
people
but
that are a
that's a
bit on the
choice,
right.
right? He made that choice. Like, I'm not
Yeah,
against migrants. I'm, you know,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
pro-migrant. But it has to be legal, right? So we
yeah.
have to do something about the boats. But so yeah,
That
people will take the safe choice, the more middle liberal kind of a choice, because you don't want to be classed as a far right extremist, right? Because
yeah.
that's all that fucking Starmer has. It's like everybody is a far right extremist.
Oh, racist. Where are you, Rob? We need you to do your impression. Oh,
I got a clip
racist.
of Starmer of that fucking talk that he
That
did today,
speech
but
this morning. Yeah, go on.
Other parties will draw different lessons. In fact, they already are. We're pointing at
Stronger,
Britain's problems,
fartier
looking
Britain.
not for solutions, but for someone to blame. Now, that's
Yeah,
fine
you.
if it's me, if it's politicians, that's the job.
Oh,
But
there you go.
increasingly, it's not. It's other people in this country.
Oh, no, it's
And
the
I
island
don't
of
think
strangers.
that's
it's
British.
not him.
That is
Yeah.
not the decency and respect that we are known for.
Yeah.
But it's here. That politics is with us now. And you'll see it again on Saturday
Oh,
at a
yeah.
march
Shout out
designed
the
to
march on
confront and
Saturday.
intimidate this diversity and this diverse country. That is why this Labour government will block far-right agitators from travelling to Britain for that event.
All right.
Because we
Yeah.
will not allow people to come to the UK, to threaten our communities and spread hate on our streets.
There you go. Do
Yeah.
you remember, however long ago it was, that we were talking about the fake far right that they were creating deliberately, so that then they could claim justification to limit people's freedoms and rights.
He
Lo
wouldn't
and behold,
exist without the fear of the far right, right? So of course they need
yeah,
the far right to exist and to be more dangerous than whatever the fuck it really is, because it's just people, they don't want to be raped.
yeah,
Shit like that.
yeah. They don't want their country filled with criminals.
No.
They don't
No.
want their country filled with people who only come in to exploit the system and then
Illegal
send money
migrants
back
says
home.
it all. Illegal. Right? So there
Exactly.
you go. So
That was
let's
the
start with that.
misdirection.
So it's
Yeah.
super easy.
They got the public to fixate
But
upon those
Starman knows
votes.
that he could run on those topics as well. He's that's the false narrative. I believe that I think that I don't know about Farage, but if he's smart enough to pull off a Trump kind of a thing, but
He'd like to, I think, but he ain't got the charisma. Even though he is fairly charismatic in the way he presents himself to a lot of the general populace, but it's not the kind of charisma magic on the level that Trump.
No, Low is too old. Low is already too old. By the time that he
Yeah.
is able to run for this, right, that his party is capable of doing the Farage thing that's in maybe 4 to 8 years, God knows.
Yeah.
But no, he's too old for this. So yeah, and it's one guy. It's
Hmm.
and same with Farage. It's like one guy who's behind it. A bunch of Indians and Pakistanis, I see, but
Yeah.
he's not that different than. I don't know. Politics is not the solution. Let's just
it's
let's
more
get
and
over
more of
that
a
fucking
circus show.
horse.
More and more of a circus show now than it ever has been.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
AI
which
is not a solution to politics either, right? Because that's the next kind of a thing that they're trying to push. But no,
a quick mention, because I still think like the thing with the three, what they call him, rent boys. Yeah,
covered that case in the daily, but yeah, there's nothing there.
I'm
They
still
don't
more of
admit it.
Yeah, I'm still more of the opinion that it wasn't anything sexual. It was simply a blackmail attempt
Mr.
against
Money.
Starmer. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
it's
some
the
external
Jews.
force hiring those guys because they were willing to do whatever for money.
Yeah,
And,
Ukrainians, because Zelensky was worried about getting funding out of the UK, and that's it. Yeah, literal blackmail.
And the timing was appropriate because of all the Epstein stuff. They knew it would have that kind of salacious shit smear effect against him. So it was like a double whammy in that respect.
Well, with what's his name? Secretary fucking what's his name? Who did they?
I'm not sure you refer. Hey, in the UK.
Yeah, who got fucking head for the Epstein files? It's that Prince and the politician guy. Mandelson. Fuck.
Yeah, the Dark Prince Mandelson.
Right, and Mandelson is directly tied to Starmer and how he got this into politics and his fame.
Another one of the old boys.
That's why he's a prime minister, because of Mandelson.
Yeah. Like him calling him Gordon Brown faced like a bum and Harriet Harman never done anything fucking useful.
Yeah.
He's calling on his old boys club supporters to supposedly give him some kind of legitimacy as leader.
Yeah. And what do they have on Farage? And what do they have on Rome? Right?
Like we said earlier, I think Farage has had both feet in the dirty club for a long time. Right?
There you go.
Probably pretty much most of his political career.
Because he's such a wannabe. He just is so fucking desperate to. That's everything about him.
He's a career politician.
He's so flamboyant and.
He's found that he's good at the gab. He's got a bit of that charm magic, which means he can appeal to the populism effect. He knows what to say and what demographic to say it to. And
Yeah.
really, I think his only goal is to remain in politics for his entire life. It's good money. It's regular money. There's loads of backhanders. There's loads of free gifts on expenses and all. It's a good life. Yeah, if you can play the game, it's a good life.
Oh
And I
yeah, he
think
has a
that's all he's
pension
ever
out of the
seen.
EU now. He has a pension out of the British Parliament bullshit and what he's doing now. So he has all kinds of money incentives. Plus, you can hire him for £5 or 70.
Yeah.
To say anything you want.
He said a big happy birthday to Hugh Janus.
Huge anus.
Did you ever see that clip? I know we shared it down for a while.
I had
Years
it in
ago
the
when it
daily
came out.
when you talked about it, right? I just looked it up. Yeah, it's actually true. It's real.
Yeah, it's what's that?
You can pay £70 to
Cameo.
congratulate huge anus.
Yeah, I think it's that web service called Cameo. And
yeah.
he's fairly cheap, you know. He's fairly cheap. Well, maybe not now. Yeah, he might want to charge more now. You never know. Or he might.
I
stop
don't
doing
know
it
if he
now.
does it anymore at this point, but yeah, I don't think he needs it. But yeah.
Let's also. I want to give a shout out to Wales for Plaid Cymru. I know for some people they might not.
anus.
Yeah, Hugh Janus. That's what he
Hugh
said.
Janus.
A big happy birthday to Hugh Janus.
Yep.
But yeah, big shout out to Wales. I mean, I know for a lot of people here in England or whatever, they might not understand why I'd be saying that, but I am half Welsh. Yeah, just so you know. But also, to me, I have no problem with Wales and Scotland and Ireland being their own independent countries. I don't see any reason why they can't be their own independent countries and we can all still be part of a United Kingdom alliance. Them having their independence back does not destroy the kingdom. That's just fucking political bullshit talk, yeah? I don't see any reason why they can't do that. And Plaid Cymru, we'll see how it goes. I don't know enough about their policy ideas or what they're thinking of trying to get implemented or changed or whatever. Maybe let's wait and see. But if they can turn the tide against a lot of the crazy sort of left-leaning woke ideology shit that got dumped into Wales in recent years, if you didn't know, there's some really fucking crazy policy in Wales at the moment. You know, some really fucking bend over and take it kind of policy shit.
Yep.
So if Plaid Cymru can push back against that, great. Fucking bang. That could actually be a impetus that encourages the English people to push more back in the same kind of way. I know in Scotland it's a bit different because the SNP are a woke party. So even though they've remained somewhat in control, that doesn't, I feel, doesn't really benefit the Scottish people in the same kind of way. He voted for Comis.
Yeah, well, the Greens probably, right? Yeah.
Some of them, yeah.
Again, that narrative, right? They had the media, they had all the fucking influence in the world to push their narrative of fucking climate and vote green and whatever, vote communist.
You want to see what they've done to some places like Carmarthen Bay? It's
but
ruined.
if we had the same fucking power, like if the BBC was behind us and ITV and Ireland TV, right?
Yeah.
Then sure. It's the mainstream is different than where we are operating at, right? So we're not mainstream. We're out of that.
Definitely not mainstream.
No, we would have had
I don't think
I
don't think we even fit into the alternative media.
No
shit as well. Yeah?
Hell no. Hope not.
Yeah, considering a lot
we're
of
not
them
Alex Jones.
Yeah, they're controlled or compromised in one way or another.
Yeah, they take the shekels. We don't take the shekels.
Yeah.
So no shekels here.
I think I said it last week. You know, it's to me, it's just evidenced by the fact of we've been doing this for quite a number of years. it's pretty obvious. There's plenty of evidence to show that we have had an influence on the conversations that are happening, but we're still these tiny little channels that you have to struggle to actually find. Yeah,
Yes.
most of the time they were only discovered by word of mouth, by people sharing links.
And you got certain channels out there that have 100,000 subs where you think, well, they're saying the same thing as Cookie. Why are they being pushed so hard? Well, because they're saying certain things they don't say, right?
Yes, yeah.
And we don't do that.
Yeah, there'll be certain topics that we will cover that they won't go anywhere near. Yeah.
No, and we won't take the shackles. Fuck the shackles.
Yeah.
Cover 'em up.
It's not about
We're
pushing-
value for value. If you appreciate what we do, then buy us a coffee. That's much appreciated, but that's about it. Thank you.
There are no pockets in a shroud.
No.
It's,
No.
what's his name?
I get 60 views on my dailies, Cookie. I spend 3 hours making those things. If if it wasn't a pure passion thing, I wouldn't be doing this. It's not for fucking shackles.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, and that's something.
And I made
that they hate.
368 of them.
Yeah, that's something that they hate because
Yeah,
they know they can't try and fuck us over by just throwing money at us or offering us money or whatever.
No. Or buy a VPN.
I'll put that up, see if we get you a few more subscribers.
Well,
Well, I'm sure everybody watching is probably already subscribed.
I hope so. All 30 of you.
Yeah, sorry. Distracting from
I
the
don't know who's
subject
watching
matter.
on my new one.
Yeah, I've got in my
18.
notes. Starmer, if you're unfortunate enough to watch that actual little speech he gave, I mean, that was one of the few things that was quite telling in the sense of he was admitting that they're going to start pursuing this
Zionist narrative. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a good word to describe how basically they're moving the goalposts on the wording of the legislation, because they're really stretching the legislation here to be able to claim that they are justified to do things like sending people back home from an airport because they're not agreeable to the British state. Not that they'd committed any crime, not that they were suspected of doing anything wrong. No, yeah, exactly. You're not allowed in because you're saying stuff that makes us unhappy.
Yeah.
That is utter
But to be
bullshit.
honest, Holland did it as well with David Icke. David Icke is not allowed in Holland because he has wrong speak.
This will probably also include, even though, I've banged on about some of the influencers out there who are actually controlled ops and whatever, they're agents for the outside forces, but the system will probably do things like pre-crime arrests for the upcoming protest on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So certain influencers will probably be taken off the scene, basically, or told to not turn up under threat of arrest or something like that.
It's funny that it's allowed.
Yeah. And like I predicted, I'll repeat my prediction, there will be an equal number of Israeli flags as there are Union flags and St. George's flags. Pretty much guaranteed. I hope to be proven wrong, but I think that will definitely be something that you'll see on Saturday.
Yeah.
Obviously from the Support the Nation protest, not the Palestine protest. The Palestine protest might very well get shut down completely with some of this shit that they're talking about.
There was an incident today or just now in Switzerland where a car drove into a Palestine protest.
Oh, fuck's sake.
So.
Yeah.
It'll be
and that clip you included in the Daily today of the woman being questioned by the police after she got off the train.
Yeah.
That is
wow,
that is
isn't
it? Major warning.
That's a red flag for you.
Yeah. That is a serious red flag. We are verging on becoming a replica of the
terrifying
Israeli
because
state
they have a special kind of privilege now.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find a clip.
Yeah, please play it if people haven't seen it. You really need to hear this, people.
Yeah.
because this again is literally what Orwell was warning about. Once they start prescribing how you can communicate with each other, that is the rapid slope that descends you towards total authoritarianism.
This is like the Nazis did with papieren, bitte.
Yeah.
Papers, please.
Yeah.
Can you show me your papers? Can you show me your fake or your hate speech?
Yeah. Do you have a
trying to find
license
it.
to
Hang on.
speak about those subjects?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is something that's still ongoing in the background, even though, as I've said, at the moment, the media has been fixated on these elections and the results of them, etc. So please be aware that this stuff is still progressing rapidly in the background.
So this woman was on a train and got stopped.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to look at this incident.
So you telling me what's been said? What did the text message say?
So we've been informed by a member of public on that train.
Right.
Described yourself and said that you allegedly made reference to the Holocaust. So obviously it's made him feel uncomfortable.
What's specific about what I've said? I made reference to the Holocaust. So on the train, someone has said that I've made an offensive comment that's made reference to the Holocaust.
Denying the Holocaust is what the allegation.
Denying the Holocaust. Okay.
Obviously, we're going to be looking at this matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe the original uploader might have blanked the first iteration of the word Holocaust.
Yeah, because
sometimes the algorithm only picks up on the first TikTok, 10 seconds. But yeah, supposedly she was having a text communication with someone where allegedly she'd said or received a message that was somehow denying the Holocaust. So the police turned up on the fucking platform to stop her and question her about it.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that, people? Yeah. Who are these?
Yeah, and the latest terror attacks on the Jews, right, have really exacerbated that stuff, like to the extreme. Like,
yeah.
You have to be very careful when you say Jews.
Yeah.
I don't care, but still, yeah. Well, I kind of want them to go knocking on my door because then I can film it and put it in my daily, but they haven't so far. But
and there are quite a few Jewish people, if you bother to. There was actually one featured on, is it that Politics Joe? I don't watch much of their stuff anymore because they are quite left wing, but they did a bit of a vox pops with some protesters in London who were Jewish, who were protesting in support of Gaza and the shit that's happening in the West Bank and all that at the moment, protesting against it, as in the illegal actions of the settlers and whatever. Like that clip that's doing the rounds of a settler wearing army fatigues shooting into a school. Why the fuck is not the international community literally moving in on Israel for shit like that? What the fuck? How the fuck can we have a two-tier system where if you're one of the special people, you can just randomly walk up to a school and shoot a weapon into? What the fuck? I'm sorry, but that kind of shit just makes me sit here and think that what world are we in when shit like that is supposedly allowed? Didn't we?
Yeah, I shared a comment here, but because
is that from the UK legislation at the moment?
Rob said it as well. Like, you can legally deny the Holocaust in the UK.
Yeah.
Right, and I looked it up. And you can. Holocaust now is not a specific offense.
No.
But I think they now classified it as a hate crime.
Yes, they're trying to classify anything that they determine is anti-Semitism as a hate crime.
As a hate crime, yeah. And anti-Muslim and anti,
to a certain degree, but not as much as they favour the special people.
There you go. But yeah,
there is extra special treatment for them.
Yeah. yeah, it's fucking insane. But
But you
it's
can
word
find,
police. That's what's
yeah,
happening.
yeah,
They're using the Jews
yes,
to get in word police.
yes.
So
Which, and when you
Jews are
say
very
word
useful.
police, that basically means thought police.
Well,
Because
yeah,
again, to reiterate Orwell's primary point that he was trying to get across, once you start removing words from the language, or once you change the definition of words within the language, you change the way people think. Literally, you change the way people think. Yeah, remove certain words and people can't even conceive of
well,
certain
we
ideas.
do, right? Yeah, we say the Jews, like Jews, not Jews.
Yeah.
So yeah, we
Yes,
already do. We do adapt. We do.
yeah, exactly. And it's a, yeah. Compelled speech is a form of slavery. It's cognitive
Of
slavery.
course, of course.
So
Freedom of speech is paramount to everything.
yeah. Oh, we have a
Freedom
fine
of thought.
tradition.
Freedom of thought is paramount to everything, and then freedom of speech. But yeah.
Yeah.
And freedom of
One
speech,
comes from
yes,
the
there
other.
is legal definitions. You cannot incite, right?
Yeah. Even
Like
then,
what they did in
you
Rwanda.
can't incite to a particular action against a particular person or group of people.
Yeah,
So you
like they
have to
did
be
in
very
the Houthis and the
specific.
Tutsis. That's
Yeah.
what they did on. But that's the government doing that. That's often
Yes.
most of. That's not us, right? Yeah,
And it still holds true in British law, not legislation, in British law, and this was proven recently in
screaming
relation
fire in
in
cinema.
regard. Well, no, but in regards to the transgender stuff, yeah,
Uh,
a court case was successfully won, upheld by the British law principle that you have a philosophical right to disagree with an entire demographic of people or an ideology or a concept, and you can share that philosophical opinion. This, I can't remember her
yeah,
name. It
as
was a
your
woman.
belief. Yeah,
Yeah,
as your
it was a
individual
woman who
belief.
was what they call a TERF. Yeah, so when she was talking to people who claim to be transgender, she would address them by their biological pronoun. So if they were a man pretending to be a woman, she'd say him. You know, she wouldn't play their game of prescribed
Yeah, yeah.
speech. She ended up taking it to court, and it was proven under British law that you have the right to do that. You have a right to have a philosophical opinion that may be in complete opposition to somebody else. That doesn't matter. You have the right to that opinion, and you have the right to be able to express it. Yeah. Same as like swearing in public. There is no direct restriction on swearing in public. It's down to what they define as your intent. And intent has to be proven in a court of law, which is very difficult to do. But if you swear directly at, say, like those two police officers,
Well, you can say, "I think you're a cunt," but you cannot say he's a cunt. Right?
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
Yeah.
Intent and opinion is different to accusations of factual reality.
Yeah.
And that's what counts in a court of law. Yeah. So she could have said to one of them coppers, I think you're being a bit of a cunt, mate. That would be fine. That's her expressing her opinion of displeasure and discomfort and whatever else. Yeah. She needed emotive language to express
But
herself.
if she says you're a cunt, then she has to kind of prove it in court of law that he's actually a cunt.
Yes.
That's going to be difficult. Yeah.
But this is the stage we're at the moment, which is why people like Starmer and the current state of what supposedly remains of what laughingly is still called the Labour Party.
Starmer is doing what he should do. So.
It is at the cutting edge of pursuing this bullshit and pushing all this change that they think we need to be pushed through. We're not asking for it. Again, that popular vote shows that people don't want it. It's just that they were limited for choice, and Farage and the Reform Party was, really the only option because the Green Party shit was just fucking insane,
Yeah.
But this is where we've got to now. You know, I'm sure regular listeners know I have no faith or belief in the political system anyway in the first fucking place. But if the general populace wants that kind of system, you know, and that's pretty much proven by the fact that they keep acquiescing to it and going along with it every day, you know, day after day. They run through the motions and whatever, and they follow the diktats. So if you're gonna have a system like this, then it should at least be genuine and honest for what it's supposed to be doing. And the shit they've been doing to us for the last 2 decades is not that at all, is it? It's not being done for the benefit of the general populace. The general populace is not asking for most of the legislation that they're pushing through. This is where I agree with the people who say, at the moment, the best option to influence change in your society is to get involved at a local level in your local area, whether that be running for council or just going to meetings and putting your hand up in disagreement if they're talking shit. You know, something along those lines. There are things you can do to at least try and influence what the fuck is going on. I'm not saying that means it will change things, but you're at least having a go at trying to help yourself through that structure.
Yeah, and that structure applies for most topics. Like if because right now the UFO topic is hot, right?
Yeah.
But you know that's a 80-year-old conspiracy that is now becoming truth. Just like fucking 9/11 and all the other conspiracies out there that we, well, you and me have kind of accepted as truth, right?
Yeah.
Or more real than what they portray it to be.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
you know, we're just peeling away layers of an onion.
Yeah. And I refuse to play their game of can kicking. You know, they keep giving us a lot of the stuff that we've already known about from before, or was just a general accepted, like, you know, just that's the way it works, mate. But they keep bringing it to the public every so often and go, oh, look at this now, folks. Oh, it might happen now, any minute now. Nah.
That's our frustration because we know the history and we know history, right? Because I think a lot of this was accepted in our history. It was part of our history, part of our lore, part of everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now we call them UFOs. We used to call them all kinds of things. So it's not, well,
angelic vehicles, chariots of the gods.
Yeah. Pixies.
Leprechauns,
Like maybe
individuals,
aliens,
like sprites, elves,
weird
all
beings,
those words,
demons,
all those words
angels,
come from an etymological root that relates to
the other.
Phenomena in the world that people was witnessing or experiencing that they couldn't explain.
Yeah, in all times, every time, all time,
things like sprites and elves. And interestingly, L. Yeah, that's where that comes from. Potentially, it was an emanation of some kind of the divine power. So it was an L. So it relates to that root that the Jordan Maxwell clip was talking about. Like
very
I said, there is.
So you know, and we're still in that phase, right? And it's just a different technological interpretation right now because we tend to see everything as fucking technology.
If
like
you're interested in that kind of language and esoteric connection, but I forewarn you that both books are quite a difficult read and a lot of material to get through. One would be The Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly P. Hall. Yes, I know he was a Mason and all that. Yes, I know. But the point is he codified a body of knowledge that traces a lot of the history of those references to esoteric forces and institutions and secret societies, etc. So it's a good sort of it's like a historical overview of all that information. And the other book, which I always recommend to people if you're interested in this stuff, is Hamlet's Mill by Von Deschend and is it Santiano or Santriana? I can't remember the other author's name, sorry, but just search for Hamlet's Mill. That is a really difficult book to get through, just simply because they pull in so much subject matter, and it wasn't a book written for the layman. Yeah, it was written for academics and scholars. So they use a fair bit of jargon and references that you might need to look up. I know I did. I was constantly putting the book down and going, what the fuck they on about with that? Do some searching. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of like footnotes and whatever in it, stuff like that. But if you're interested in how language and mythology and things like what they call astrotheology and all that kind of esoteric history that builds into our culture and our heritage, which is often subtly part of the language we use without most people realizing whatsoever. Yeah, like the L prefix. That prefix of EL denotes a divine power element to what you're talking about. Yeah. But if you want, read it. Those two books, like I said, there's many, many hours that it will take you to work your way through them. But that will give you a really good foundation of a lot of this kind of stuff to do with language and the ancient roots of why we have certain perceptions in our reality. But yeah, that's if you want that kind of homework. I need to read both of them again. I haven't read, I haven't read Hamlet's Mill for several years now. I need to read that again. And Secret Teachings, I've only read that like...
Is there a movie?
No.
Damn it.
No, there's far too much in it. Secret Teachings, a lot of them, yeah, you can get the audio lectures at Manly P. Hall where he's presenting all
Yeah,
the
no, I know those. I know
Yeah.
those.
They are really
should,
nice.
everybody should know those. Like,
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
He's a really good speaker.
Don't go to Jordan Maxwell because Jordan Maxwell stole a lot of that stuff and, you know, exacerbated on it and sensationalized it. But
yes, Spanish, it could just make you nuts if you have a very weak mind and you're easily influenced. Stop being a weakling. I know you're not a weakling. Stop talking gibberish. You're being a fool. But,
that's a choice.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, it is a choice. If you don't want to look at that material, don't. Yeah, just carry on consuming the AI.
Be in the Matrix, right? Eat a steak.
Oh, mate, some of the AI shit that Google's been throwing at me. There's this one channel that keeps using thumbnails that are in a sepia tone. Yeah, and they're things like a giant fucking tree stump that's about fucking 200 feet across with a whole load of guys stood around it with axes as if they just cut the fucking giant tree down. And they're claiming that this is literal history.
Yeah.
Talk about shitting in your brain. These people are shitting in your brain. Stop consuming that crap, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, brain rot.
Yeah, you do what you want to do with your brain, but yeah, that is literal fucking brain rot. But that's the state we're at the moment. They want people to be confused. They want you to be anxious. They want you to feel that you don't know anything, that you can't ever know anything because you're not an expert. You're just a pleb. You're just supposed to follow orders and pay tax. Stop believing that bullshit, for fuck's sake, please. Read 1984. Read Brave New World and Brave New World Revisited. Read The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged. You know,
it kind of goes back to Socrates again. Like, realize that you know nothing, right? That every question you have will only give more questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
And every time you think you've reached,
and any time that anybody presents you a solution, it's a delusion.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's my.
We keep moving forward. There is only ever forward, and we keep learning.
Yep.
Hopefully, and if we keep communicating as well, even though we may disagree on certain points, there's nothing wrong with disagreeing. If you think that some of those subjects are great and fantastic, you fill your boots. Yeah.
Well, the problem with all of it is like it's to hold us back,
Yes,
right? It's
exactly.
to put a
yeah.
brake on our fucking evolution and
Yeah.
problem-solving capabilities.
Yeah.
Because
And
we
to
can't
make you
solve
feel,
every fucking problem in this fucking planet
yeah,
today.
and it's to make
We
you
can't.
feel that you have to rely on them.
Yes.
Because that's the way parasites work. They have to convince the host that the
Yeah.
parasite is needed.
And that's the
It's not.
danger.
We do not need the Epstein class. I really hope that the
Well-
Iranians help end that Epstein class in some manner.
Yeah.
Not violently, I'm not suggesting that, but just by what they've done recently, and especially if Putin holds true to his recent commentary about bringing the Ukraine war to a rapid end. The situation is getting very, very real again. I hope you know that, yeah? We are, and I know I've banged this point for a long time now, we are in World War III. Just because they haven't said it on the TV doesn't mean it isn't happening. It is happening. Buy a crash helmet, be a little prepared, use a bit of common sense. You know, I've said this many times, you know, make sure you got a few weeks worth of food in your cupboard.
For most people during World War II was happening through the radio.
Yes.
They were listening to the radio broadcast telling them that they were bombing this and that and blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we are living it now in on steroids with the mainstream and the social medias and all that.
Yeah.
But it's not that different. So it's still a far away thing. In my bubble,
that you only
there's
know
no
by
bombs
what you're told.
dropping.
Yeah.
Any.
Yeah.
Right? No,
I
nobody's
have,
stabbing anybody. Nobody's
Yeah.
raping anybody. So
I have most days I have quite a pleasant day, staring out my window, enjoying looking at the clouds and watching
in my
the
little
birds.
bubble, it's fine.
Yeah, watching the
Yeah,
people coming and going. Yeah,
see issues, but yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So, but
it's not
that's the
all doom and
reality.
gloom. It's not all
No,
no hope
course
and
not.
darkness. Do not
No.
hide under your stairs and wait for the end. Stop it. Yeah.
I don't live in London. London is not, it's not my
No.
reality, but it's not what I'm seeing, right? The stabbings and the phone muggings and all that shit.
Yeah.
Sure, but that's a cosmos, a little cosmos, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
That's being projected onto
deliberately
us.
amplified.
Yeah. So
Same
no.
as a lot of the inner cities, like
Be real.
Birmingham's not far different to London now, so
That's what you should be aware of. Like, you don't want that to be sure, but yeah.
But that is the current state of play. Sorry if it's unpleasant, but you can always enjoy a little bit of escapism. There's plenty of ways of taking some time out, and please do take some time out for yourself. Yeah, don't always spend all your time just what do they call it? Doom scrolling. I don't use a phone, so I'm not used to that kind of scrolling idea, but I get it. It's like a gambling addiction for many people.
Well, the algorithms feed you the shit you want, right? All the time. It's an addiction.
Well, unfortunately, this holds
It's like
as a
heroin.
truism. It's still true today as it was in Roman times with the Colosseum, which is why I've often described the internet media as being the virtualized Colosseum.
Bread and circus, yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, humans are a bit macabre in their attention, simply because most people don't experience that kind of shit in their own personal lives. So when they're presented with it, they have a bit of a morbid fascination to need to look at it, yeah? Because it's something.
Well, it makes you feel good, right? Somebody
that
else's
it's not
suffering
happening
makes
to
you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's simple.
But it means the algorithms, which are only looking for engagement, gauge the engagement. They're like, show you a bunch of nice fluffy kittens having fun playing it with a ball of wool. That gets a few clicks. They show you live feed camera of people being shot in some third world countries.
Yeah,
that
tiger
gets
eating a
tons of
human.
clicks. Yeah, war porn.
Yep.
So the algorithm's just feeding our own mistakes. You know,
Yeah.
so if you want to see less of that shit, stop clicking on it. You know, if it's not your job, if you're not a
Watch the
journalist
daily.
who's required
Get
to like
informed.
comment on that stuff, stop clicking on it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it
I
sounds
don't.
simple.
I want to put a little caveat there. Some of it is actually good. Right?
Yeah, welcome
A
to
lot
the
of it
caveat
is
show.
with good intentions and trying
Yes,
to make
yeah,
you
I
smarter
agree.
and inform you and
Yeah, and
but
show you
yeah,
what
no,
reality really is. Yeah,
well, that's why I make the daily, right? Because there's a lot of shit out there, like
yeah,
right?
and it's good to have a
So
bit of a balance.
try to balance it out a little bit,
Yeah,
but yeah.
yeah. But as I say, take a break every now and then. You know, give yourself a little bit of joy. Be serious about having your joy. And if you are so inclined and fancy doing it, try and do something a little bit creative. Shout out to all the creative people we've got in the chat. I know most people are creative in one way or another. And I think that's one of the things that brings us together. You know, we have minds that are able to be imaginative and creative. Therefore, that means we have a lot of questions about reality and what's going on in the world, you know, because we can think and we want to congregate with other people that can think. You know, we don't just want to stand around and talk about what happened on the latest soap opera last night.
Yeah, we're not in the slave system. Like I care about career and my job and my 9 to 5 and my boss. What does he think? And if I don't say the wrong thing,
What if I'm
right? So
wearing the
no,
wrong
fuck that.
label clothing? Oh no!
Yeah,
People at work might think I'm a bit strange. Yeah, they
yeah,
probably
no,
think that
no,
anyway.
no.
Right,
And we do
let's
have an inner voice. I think we are part of the people that do have an inner voice. Because
yeah.
that's one of the things that still fucking
Do you
blows
want
my
to?
mind that there is
I've
people out
learned
there.
this technique where I can project my inner voice onto a screen. Do you want to see what I'm thinking at the moment?
Yeah.
Do you like cheese? Do you like peas? Well, you love these cheesy peas. A combination of cheese and peas to form cheesy peas. They're great for your
Cheesy
teeth.
peas.
Come on, Mum. Think cheese. Think peas. Think cheesy
I love
peas.
cheese.
It's
I love
easy
peas.
peasy with cheesy peas. Please.
I mean, yeah. Who doesn't love peas? Who doesn't love cheese?
You gotta love cheesy peas. Huh?
Mm.
I mean, it's just the most amazing invention of the last century.
I think so.
Yeah. The culinary expertise of English cuisine. Cheesy peas. Yeah.
Cheesy peas.
What else we got? Fish finger sandwiches.
Yeah, mac and cheese. That's a good one.
Yeah, you could leave out the mac though. Yeah. I'd rather not eat the chemical meat. Yeah.
No,
the cheese
macaroni
has
and
to be
cheese.
real.
Macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Mm.
It's with some decent quality.
That's
pasta.
poverty food. If you're eating mac and cheese, that's poverty food. That's
Yeah.
crisis food. Yeah.
Welcome to the working poor. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Mac
Let's
and
wrap
cheese.
it up. Oh, you
all.
just in time for the end. Straight for end. Sorry, but yeah, you don't like cheese. That's all right. You can just have the peas. We'll have your cheese. We'll have your.
Yeah, I'll
portion.
take it. Yeah.
Extra cheese on my peas.
Yeah, no, I
Lovely.
love cheese.
No, well, if you ferment it for long enough. Yeah. Oh
man,
no,
there's so
clicked on
many
the wrong one.
cheeses. There's a cheese for everybody.
Yeah, that's not the kind of that's Soylent cheese, that is, man. Yeah, right. Thanks for tuning in, folks.
I'll share the link. Hang on.
Yeah, thanks for giving us your attention for a couple of hours. Yeah, I love cheesy beans as well. Right? Definitely, especially on a baked potato. Baked potato, a couple of spoons of beans, and then a good sprinkling of cheese in there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'll take it.
It's one of the few sort of culinary delights of baked beans, isn't it? Yeah. Again, another British invention of amazing cuisine that we gave to the world. What do you mean they're baked? Like, yeah, tomato sauce, mate. It's great. Stick them on toast. It's a real dinner. Yeah, honest. Anyway, right. Yeah, we've mentioned everything. I did mention about the march on the weekend, yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. But please do turn up again tomorrow night for Not a Dr. Rob's Health Freedom UK show.
And quiz.
And quiz, yeah, that's the main thing I think people
Yeah,
get excited about.
I am.
And we'll be back again Wednesday for the Starfish Troopers.
Yep.
Maybe Starmer will be kicked out by then, but we'll see. There's plenty for us to be talking about. So. And Thursday night, Steve will be on for the mystery show.
Yep.
So tune in.
And Friday?
Usually the first half he plays music as well, but tune in and hang about for all the conversation, not just the music. I appreciate the music very much as well, but I'm also about the conversation. And
I like
Friday,
his electric guitar is that new thing that he has. That's kind of cool.
The MIDI guitar, yeah.
Yeah, he can do all kinds of tunes with that one. That's cool.
Yeah. And Friday night, we're lucky this week. We've got a ladies' night. So tune in for that. I was seeing
we got a lot of songs in there. Yeah.
There was already quite a lot been suggested, so I'll have to have
some really good
look
ones
through and try and think about what I could think of. I'm going to have to try and think of something a bit unusual. I'll try.
I saw some good ones, Metallica ones.
Yeah, there were some really good suggestions. So tune in for that, and then we'll be back again next week. You put the link in the chat, haven't you, for the after chat? Yeah. So if you want to join the after chat and chat with us for a little bit, we'll be hanging around for maybe another couple of hours. Yeah, an hour or so. I'm usually falling asleep by the time we get to midnight, but we'll see you again soon. I'm going to play a classic song to play us out. One of my old-time favourites. I've played it many times, but it never gets old for me. I think it says a lot in a very simple way with some classic tunes, some good music. Stick your thumbs up your bum. So we'll see you again soon, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Cat cheese.
Good cheese.
Hey! Have some respect for people's privacy! Hey!
Welcome to your awakening. Please take care as your reality is adjusted.